Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Between the Seams with Marty and Mack, brought to you by the Triple Play Fantasy Network. It is now week 15. The All-Star break, which we talked about off air, Mack, is barely a break for anybody. But, you know, we had the week off, and now we're back. I'm feeling rested. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling wonderful. Well, actually, no, I'm not. I'm an Atlanta Braves fan, and it was not a good ending to the break for us. So, you know, I'm coming back. I came back with high hopes, especially last night after we poured it on against the Rays. Yep. And then the bullpen troubles set in, and we lost in the 10th inning, which sounds like pretty much every Braves game I paid attention to this season.
Man, across the board.
But we picked up Stephen Vogt, so, you know, maybe things are going to turn around.
Maybe. And when I saw Acuna come down from that, you know, you were the first person I thought of. And
oh, no.
It's been pretty brutal for all. I mean, you know, Ozuna, you know, obviously there's bigger problems with that than just baseball. But, you know, just as a fan, that's got to be.
Yeah, and Darno with a thumb fracture or whatever he's got going on. And, as soon as I saw Acuna land, I was like, yep, that's his ACL. He's done.
Yep, he's done.
You could just tell. But prayers up for Acuna.
Yeah, he'll be back.
He'll be back.
We'll have the best, you know, medical staff in the world working on him day in, day out. You know, he'll be hard for him. I mean, that's a hard road back, but he'll be fine, you know, in about a year and a half.
Yeah, they say the Braves notoriously have guys coming back from ACLs earlier than usual. So, but they're fine usually. So I don't know what that's about. The timeline is so
yeah.
But maybe our doctors
at this point, I think you guys are in second in your
division? Third. Four games back. Okay. 5 games back now.
And now you got Jock Peterson, which we won't hop in too much because sneak peek. He's going to be one of my guys coming up here. But anyway, let's hop into what was week 14. Seems so long ago. Let's review our hitters and pitchers like we always do. And we'll start with our hitters this week. Mac, how'd it go?
You know, it was pretty okay, pretty decent.
And that's what we strive for.
Yeah. I mean, look, we're picking guys who are under 50% rostered, and, you know, I'm not mad about it. My Brewer sandwich ended up turning out pretty good. Adames went 7 for 25. He had a home run, 3 runs, had 1 RBI, so his home run was a solo shot. You know, his average is pretty good there. Quite a few singles. He's still hitting homers, just not as many as the week before. The week before he hit 3. So, I wish I would have picked him the week before, but whatever. And Avisal Garcia, almost the same thing. 7 for 20, 1 home run, 1 run, 4 RBIs. Practically the same box score of the runs and RBIs switched around, but. Average is still there. He's getting on base a little more than Adames because he walks a little more frequently, or he did that week. But and then Brendan Rodgers kind of stunk it up. He's 3 for 14. He had 2 runs, 1 RBI. The only solace I had was that I was facing him in a head-to-head matchup, so I was not mad about him not doing well. But other than that, not a bad week overall. That would be. That's 17 hits over. I didn't total up the plate appearances, but a couple homers, quite a few runs, some counting stats in there, but I didn't get a steal. I really wanted Rodgers to get me a steal. Adames got caught.
He hasn't got one in a long time.
Nope. And Adames got caught stealing, so he tried.
Yeah.
He's been stealing a little bit more frequently because the week before he had a stolen base to go along with the 3 home runs. So he's not super quick, but he's a selective runner. And sometimes he selects wrong, like this week. So,
well, and if it makes you feel any better, I just looked up each one of your players and how they did last night. Adames and Garcia both had home runs, and Rodgers went 2 for 4. So, you know.
I mean, hey, if you're counting this week as part of the week. I am rest of season. I'm not even really a streamer guy on Garcia or Adames.
Yeah.
Jury's still out on Rodgers for me. I actually traded him straight up last season in the dynasty, or now season in a dynasty, because I'm not very high on him. But
who'd you get for him?
At the time, his value was really low, so I sold a little low. But I got Heriberto Hernandez.
Okay.
But I was in a rebuild situation, and I like Heriberto's bat a lot, and that was right after the Rays traded for him, which is always a good sign. So, we'll see. I might end up coming out the winner in a couple years, but right now, Rogers.
It looked like he was going to take off, and then now he's kind of, he's doing what he normally does. All right. Well, hey, let's look at my Week 14 hitters. We'll start off with Andrew Vaughn. So he was by far my best batter for the week. He did get caught stealing, so I thought that was pretty interesting that he would even try it. But yeah, so Vaughn went 7 for 23. He slashed 333, 391, 714. He had 2 home runs. One of them was basically the Sunday afternoon game where he hit a double dong game. So he kind of made up for not getting any home runs all week in the last day. But hey, we'll take it. 4 runs, 4 RBIs. And I think he's gonna be good to go for the rest of the year.
It looks good.
Yeah. Number 2 was Kiki Hernandez. So he slashed to 182, 357, 409. He did get you a homer. He had 2 RBIs, 3 runs, but he cooled off from where we got the wave when it crashed. But he walked 4 times. So in an OBP league, he didn't kill you, but not too strong of a showing there. And this is where I confess to you, Mac, never again with Hunter or Dozier.
I'll believe it when I see it.
No, like if you were to see me, imagine me at a political rally holding up a sign that says "Done with Dozier." That would be me, and I would just be for hours on end. I'm officially done with him. He went 4 for 23. He got you a solo homer, but that was his only RBI of the whole week. He finished with 3 runs.
Isn't there a pitcher you quit throughout this season at one point too? I feel like we've officially both got I know that I have a pitcher.
I have to go through them. Yeah,
mine was Canning. I was done with no more Canning.
I can't remember who mine was, but
I feel like you had
at the beginning of the year was Kyle Schwarber. So you tell me.
Yeah, you were done with Kyle Schwarber. Mm-hmm. So maybe just being done with guys is good for you.
Need.
That's what they need.
It's the reverse.
You're holding them back.
Hey, maybe. Hey, that's fine. And he can give me some of his contract then because so far he's currently not earning it. But that's neither here or there. Let's go into our Week 14 pitchers. How do we do there?
Pretty good. So Week 14 pitchers, I had Alex Wood, Alek Manoah, and Dane Dunning. Alex Wood faced the Cardinals. That was by far the best start of the week. He pitched 7 innings. He had 1 earned run, 3 hits, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts, and you got a win and a quality start in there. That start went just about how I expected it to go. Cardinals offense has been pretty horrible aside from Arenado and sometimes Goldie when he's having a good game. Bader's an interesting guy. I almost put him on my list today. He's kind of turned it on recently. He went 2 for 3 last night. Keep a watch on him because he's been off and on for a little bit. But other than that, the Cardinals are pretty bad offensively, and Wood carved him up. His slider's been back for a little while, which is why I recommended him. And 8K shows that it was back this time as well.
Yeah, he's had a really good season. I personally did not expect anything from him whatsoever. Nope. And now he's turning, quality start after quality start. It's pretty amazing.
It's basically the story of the Giants season. So
that's true. Your first place Giants. And real quick on Harrison Bader, because I didn't even know this, he has 5 steals on the year.
Yeah.
That's not nothing.
He's been stealing and he's been hitting. If you look down his game logs, it's just a couple hits every game for the last little bit. So he's a streaky guy. I don't know, may have missed the boat, but he's also still young. Him and Carlson both look like they at separate times this season have sort of turned it on and become the players people expected them to be. And it just hasn't all come into sync for the Cardinals.
Well, and real quick on that, you know what that means? That means the Cardinals are going to trade them because anytime they get a really good outfielder, they trade them, and then they're
trading them, and then they're really good. So, talk to Adolis Garcia or Andy Rosarina or literally anyone else. Marcelo Zuna pre him being problematic. Yeah. But that is neither here nor there. Let's talk about Alek Manoah, which was an interesting start. So he was projected to start against Baltimore, and he actually got the Rays this last week, which I don't think I probably would have still said go against the Rays, but I'm not quite certain. It would have been a little iffier.
I have him in every league that I could have got him in, and I did play him regardless. I mean, Tampa Bay strikes out so much, but
which was the case.
Yep.
Well, this was weird. He went 3 2/3. He only allowed 3 earned runs. It was weird. 3 hits, 3 walks, 3 earned runs. So 3s across the board there, but not the worst whip in the world. ERA is not great because only 3 2/3. But he had 9 strikeouts. So
that's incredible.
9 strikeouts and 3 2/3. His pitch count got up there because of the walks and the Ks. And I think that they're still just cautious with him because he's a rookie. So they pulled him, got into a little bit of trouble. I am not mad when a streamer, if he's going to blow up, at least get me 9 Ks out of the blow up. And it wasn't even really a blow up, but I mean, that's about as blow up-y as Manoah's gotten.
Yeah. He finished with a 4.91 ERA and a 1.64 whip. So that doesn't kill you.
Yeah, no. And I was looking I was in the pitcher list Discord, and some guys were talking about like top 10 pitchers. It was like swinging strike rates. What was this? Pitch percentage that was swinging strikes. I think that's what it was. And Manoah was like top 5 or something like that.
I believe it.
So yeah, he's looked really good for it's hard hit per plate appearance. Actually, was what that was. So yeah, no. So and then Dane Dunning was okay.
I feel like the name of Dane Dunning would be impossible to be a superstar. I don't know.
I don't know. Probably it's about how he pitches, but this was a weird start because he went 5 innings, and 5 innings of 1 hit ball. He gave up 1 earned run, and it was a solo shot, 1 hit, and then he had 1 walk, 6 Ks. They pulled him after 5, and he got a no decision out of it. So
that's pretty good. That's good.
No, pretty good. Pretty good start. Just like weird, the guy 1 hit ball and you pull him in 5 innings with 6 strikeouts.
Did you see his pitch count by any chance?
I didn't see his pitch count, but I can't imagine it was high because 1 walk. I think it was in the 80s from what I remember checking through the Yahoo comment section, which is a wild, wild west, by the way. That's
not an official source.
I love to scroll through that though.
Of course,
pretty crazy. But Wood, good. Win and quality start. Dunning was okay. You got you 6 Ks, no decision. Good ratios play, and then Manoah was weird. So
yeah, weirdly serviceable, especially in a points league.
Yeah, thank you, Manoah, for being okay. So let's move on to week 15, shall we?
All right. Well, I got to hop into my pitchers.
Quick. Sorry.
No, it's all right. So John Gray was my first pitcher. So he was the only one that had 2 starts, and both were really good. At Arizona, he had a quality start, 6 innings pitched, 8 Ks, gave up 6 hits, only 3 earned runs, and he only walked 1, which is encouraging to see there from Gray. He finished with a 4.50 ERA and a 1.17 WHIP. His second start of the week, which going against San Diego, it's kind of a crapshoot there, and I was a little worried, but not too much, and it actually worked out extremely well. So he got the win, quality start. He went 6 innings. He had 7 Ks. He only gave up 3 hits and only 1 earned run. So John Gray was outstanding all week.
So what do you think? The Rockies trade him? Yeah, I've heard fodder around that, but I'm not sure.
It's the Rockies. They should trade Story. They should trade Gray. They should trade Marquez. They should trade
anybody. Get them all out.
I don't understand why they do this.
Yeah. No, I've heard a lot of people, but then Rockies fans, or I was reading through a thread and someone was like, no, the Rockies love to keep guys who can pitch in Coors. And Gray is one of those guys. So I don't know. We'll see, but I would love to see him go somewhere the Padres, actually. The Padres need some.
That'd be good.
Who knew the Padres would be the ones who need starting pitcher depth, but you can never have too many pitchers.
Yeah, especially with Darvish, he'll be all right.
I wouldn't mind the Braves even trying for it with some of the pitching depth problems we've had. So,
number 2 was Logan Gilbert versus the Yankees. So another win. He went 7 innings strong, 8 Ks, and just 1 hit. It's just, it was a beautiful, beautiful outing by Mr. Gilbert. I don't know if you got to watch that one, but that was fun.
I did not, but I wish I did. I love watching Gilbert pitch.
And I liked watching the Yankees strike out.
Me too. Oh, man.
And then, so Joe Ross, RIP, as always. He did not play within a few days of me recommending him. I even talked about how often he's injured. He went on to the IL, and it sucks because he was doing so well. So just a bummer there. Just gotta move on from him.
What do you know what he went on the IL for? Was it?
I think it was forearm inflammation. I want to say.
Yeah, and we were just talking about how he was throwing harder than normal too. So.
Maybe he's one of the guys. Let me see. Right elbow inflammation.
Hate to hear it.
Yeah. So. So we'll see on him. But
I got that problem too.
Yeah. All right, and then now, Mac, let's move on to week 15. We are here. It's a long week, but we're going to cover specifically the 19th through the 25th. So it'll be your standard Monday through Sunday. I'm honestly, man, the week off of fantasy is nice. I feel refreshed. I was excited to go through these.
Yeah.
It's it's the second half of the season. This is a good time for you to evaluate all of your teams and see what you need.
Absolutely.
Not to trade this into like a trading discussion, but this is what I would do. I would go team stats within your league and look at everyone's team stats, and whichever ones you see are low. Like for instance, I have a buddy low in stolen bases, 24 stolen bases. The next closest low is 45. I took a picture of it. I texted him saying, "Hey, who do you want from Ramon Laureano? Get some stolen bases on your team." And hopefully, you'll be able to make a trade. So, this is the time now to start looking into people that can help you for the second half of the season. And it is more than officially trade season.
Absolutely. And it's not over yet. We still got a lot of season left. You can make those playoffs.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You can go from worst to first, baby. It's possible. And to do that, there's a good place to start is listening to our Week 15 hitters.
Absolutely.
Mac, who do you got?
So this is a real list of interesting streamers. I really like all these guys. So we're going to go from old vets to former prospects. Let's start with Brandon Nimmo. He is only 32% rostered after having been injured for most of the season so far. But would you looky there, the Mets have been healthy for the last little bit, and he hits atop a Mets lineup that is relatively powerful when healthy. We had a discussion recently in the Discord about how Nimmo might be a little bit better of a real life player than he is a fantasy player, and I think I'd agree with that. I think I agree that his ability to get on base and some of his fundamentals don't translate into the fantasy game as well, but to an extent it does. And I think he's ultimately a stat accumulator. He's going to get you runs. He's going to get you. He's going to stay on base. He'll get some RBIs, and he's been hitting well since he's been back. I looked through his game logs. He's pretty much, I think he had a hit most every game for the last couple weeks. And I looked at I looked through my Yahoo fantasy leagues to see who's been the best on the waiver wire over the last couple weeks, and Nimmo was just cropping up at the top of the list. So he's always been a player I liked. I wish he could stay healthy for a season. I think he could put up a really fantastic season. And I like that he's from freaking Wyoming, and they don't even have high school. Yeah, they don't have high school baseball there. He had to travel around. Yeah, they literally he didn't have high school baseball. He had to travel around and play ball to even get scouted. Yeah.
I don't know if you remember this. I'm obviously older than you, but Garfield, right? The cartoon Garfield, the cat. There was when I was 10 years old, there was a little 5-minute segment on how Wyoming didn't exist. And as a little kid, I still remember it, and because I remember him looking have you ever met anyone from Wyoming? And I remember thinking as a kid, I'm like, no. He's like, you ever seen a Wyoming license plate? I'm like, No. And then it's like a government cover up that they wanted 50 states. It's a whole thing. So it's just anytime I think of Wyoming, I think of that. And the fact that they don't have high school baseball, honestly, dude, maybe it doesn't exist.
Maybe it doesn't exist.
Like weird stuff still popping up about Wyoming. And any listeners in Wyoming, reach out to us. Let us know what's going on there.
What's the biz? And do you guys like Brandon? I've heard that Brandon Nimmo doesn't have like a great reputation, so maybe I don't like him that much as a person. So I can't make judgments. I don't know.
Yeah, all I know is that he's hitting leadoff. And I love when I see that the one circle, and it's nice and green there on Yahoo, telling you he's going to get 4 at bats at least every game. I love that.
Yep,
so
we love it.
Cool.
All right, moving on to guys who are sometimes hitting leadoff, potentially, probably not. I don't know. The Braves are going to be weird with this. Orlando Arcia, he's been playing. He's shortstop eligible. He's been kind of utility around the field, though. I think he'll pick up that third base eligibility relatively soon, or second base, or I don't know. He's all over the field for the Braves, from what I can tell. Because Riley's been playing third, Swanson's at short, but he's been getting in pretty much every game. He has a hit in 7 of his first 8 games with the Braves, so he seems to like the new environment. He scored a lot of runs pretty much every time I tune into a game. Arcia is scoring. So that's purely anecdotal, but I don't know. I just like when guys get traded to new places and they start hitting. They like their new place, and he was a guy who had some prospect pedigree coming up, and then he was pretty bad with the Brewers for a while, but he was crushing it in AAA with the Braves. I mean, he had a 3-homer game. He was just on fire, and so he forced our hand. We had to Atlanta had to call him up because he was hitting so well in AAA, and he didn't stop. And then last but finally not least, probably my favorite of these 3 guys is Garrett Cooper. Garrett Cooper is 29% rostered. He's jumped 9% over the last week. So he gets 7 games. I forgot to mention, Nimmo gets 6 games this week. Arcia gets 7 games. The Marlins get 7 games. And Cooper has quietly been really fantastic this entire season, but especially over the last couple months. And, I mean, he's just kept hitting. Listen to this, since June 1st, his slash line is 344, 488, 578. He's got a 488, so he's basically getting on base 50% of the time since June 1st. He's slugging almost 600. His WOBA is 459, and he has a 196 weighted runs created. He had 4 home runs in that time, 13 RBI, scored a ton of runs. He even got a steal in there. His max exit velocity is in the 92nd percentile. He's got a 53% hard hit rate on the year, which is in it's 94th percentile in the league. So yeah, I don't know. Cooper's again, he's one of those guys. He's been a little injured off and on.
Yeah.
So take with that what you will. There's always some risk with guys like this. But if you look even at his baseball reference page over the last 3 years, he's been a 280 hitter. He's basically career 280 hitter with a 350 OBP for the last 3-4 years. So
I'm in a couple 15-team leagues, and I'm in a couple 30-team dynasty leagues. I have Garrett Cooper in nearly every one of them.
Yeah.
Because you get him for free. Some places he'll have first base and outfield eligibility.
Yeah, he does on Yahoo.
I remember him. I used to think him and Brian Reynolds were similar, for a year or two. Now Brian Reynolds is he's been absolutely incredible as shown by his all-star appearance. But they kind of remind me of the same, empty batting almost 300, but with empty stats a little bit. But yeah, lately Cooper's really revved it up, and the Marlins need him. So yeah.
Speaking of, if you're in like a 20-team, 30-team dynasty and you need a guy who's hitting well, Darren Ruff, I think, deserves a shout out. Because Darren Ruff is
or something. Again, I was just looking at it.
2% in Yahoo.
Yeah.
And he's also first base outfield eligible, and he's been pretty much incredible. He just set a career high for home runs at the All-Star break. So
yeah, a little free fantasy advice right there.
Yeah, something about them Giants.
I don't know. Ever since last year, it's just been a completely different environment in there.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, so my week 15 hitters, we're going to start off with your new boy, Jock Peterson, first base, outfield eligible, your Atlanta Braves. He's only 28% rostered. Let's be honest, the year hasn't been that great for him, but it's at the same time, it's pretty much typical Jock. I mean, he's batting around 225 and he's hitting bombs. As you alluded to earlier, Mac, we're kind of unsure of how the Braves are going to handle the, Acuna being out. So I think it's a good possibility that Jock's going to start off as a leadoff hitter. I don't have the same pulse as you do on the team, but he was leading off for the Cubs, and they don't have a leadoff guy. Ipso facto, it's possible.
Yeah.
The Braves currently rank 8th in team WOBA against righties, and so as you know, Jock Peterson cannot hit lefties. It just can't happen. He hasn't been that bad this year, but just overall, he just can't do it. So most of the time he's going to be in the lineup is against righties. So I like having a top 10 team around him. I know a lot of that will be Ozuna and Acuna, and their absence is going to hurt that. But so I do like it there. And just for the rest of season, you want to ask, how does he fare in the, and I had to look this up. It's Truist Park.
Yeah.
Is that where Atlanta plays now?
Yeah. Chop House is really shallow.
Atlanta
went from actually being probably in one of the best pitchers parks to
Turner Field. Right?
Turner Field was just a cavern.
Yep.
And then Truist Park, that short porch in left field. I mean, Freddie Freeman's been feasting on it for years.
Yep.
Now, and anytime we can get a lefty in the lineup who can just pull line drives into the Chop House.
Yep.
It's not bad. So
there we go. The Chop House. See, that's what I'm saying. You got the pulse, man.
It's somewhat similar to not nearly as iconic, but sort of similar to like the Green Monster.
Yeah.
It's that high wall, not as high as the Green Monster, but I mean shallow, just a shallow field. So if you sometimes just like things that look like flyouts go out there.
Yep.
So.
I was looking at Jock's last 3 years of how many, he's hit 57 home runs, and 53 of them would have gone out at Truist Park. Obviously, there's a lot of noise within that stat because, he could be home or, away for half of those. And I didn't dive that deep on it. But like you said, that completely what you just said backs up what I was seeing, with these numbers here. So, and I think a change of scenery is always a good thing. They're going to miss him in Chicago. I know the Cubs, the fans loved him. He had the big dirt mustache. He was having fun, hopping up and down. The Braves need that kind of energy right now. So I think overall it's going to be a good fit for him. Yeah.
Also, let me amend my statement that about Arcia. I just looked it up, and he's actually been playing left field, which could change with Jock coming in. So we'll see. Keep an eye on the Braves and positional eligibility and lineup construction because those are going to be big factors for a couple of those guys.
Exactly. Number 2 for me is going to be Akil Baddoo. So my Detroit Tiger outfielder is 34% rostered. So at the beginning of the season, he came out, guns a-blazing. He was absolutely incredible. Then he hit this, about a month stretch where he struck out 50% of the time. Since that time, so we're going to be looking since May 31st, so over the last roughly 32 games, Baddoo is batting .308 with 2 home runs and 8 stolen bases.
Yep.
So he's doing a little bit of it all. He's playing about 5 out of every 7 games, roughly-ish. But he continues to prove he's potentially a really good player.
Might start getting more. I mean, Nomar Mazara just got DFA'd, as you know.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. So, we're hoping they just put him at the top of the lineup and let him do his thing. And he's actually doing really good with walks as well in OBP League. So, Akil Baddoo, the Tigers have 4 games at home versus Texas and then 3 at Kansas City. Yeah. So nothing too crazy there. Number 3 for me will be Josh Bell, first baseman for your Nationals, 57% rostered. And I think everyone kind of gave up on Josh Bell. I know I'm speaking for everyone, but I'm going to speak for everybody and say, I think everyone pretty much just gave up on him. He had that amazing year in 2019 where he hit all those home runs. And since then, he's been pretty dreadful. However, over the last 30 days, he's quietly slashing .315, .390, .534 with 4 home runs and 18 RBIs. So in other words, he's been an absolute beast. As always, his StatCast data is, all in the red, 94th percentile in average exit velocity, 97th percentile in max exit velocity, and 96% in hard hit rate. So when he does get, hold the ball, it's flying out of there. He's in the 80th percentile of expected batting average, 73 percentile in xWOBA. So, for what he's been able to accomplish so far this year, the StatCast data does complement that. And I think just moving forward, he's going to be, I think he's someone that you can kind of rely on for the next, month or two. Don't, obviously hold me to the fire about that, but I feel like he's coming around. And for this upcoming next week, he doesn't have the best matchups, but you're going to be able to get your 4 at-bats from him. His K percentage is down from 26.5% last year. Now it's at 22.3%. So that is something, especially with him. We worry about him slumping and getting into those long stretches where he's striking out so much. And he has 3 home versus Miami and then 3 at Baltimore. So I like those matchups a lot for him. All right. Now, Mac, this is your time to shine, buddy. It's pitching. Week 15 pitchers. Who do we got?
This is going to be hard because this is going to be a very fluid week because rotations are not set after the break. So if you're looking at any site looking for probable pitchers or whatever, 50% to maybe even more than that is like, don't know yet. So don't blame us if these suck because it's really hard to tell who's even pitching against who right now. But let's talk about 3 that I'm pretty sure. So number 1 is our guy, Rich Hill, Mr. Dick Mountain. 55% rostered. He gets Cleveland. This is all just a gut feeling for me because if you look at Rich Hill's numbers over the last 4 starts, they're not fantastic. He took his ERA from somewhere a little bit below 3 or right at 3 to a 3.74. Still not horrible, but his last 4 starts have not been great. And most
you think the age is getting to him?
That's the thing is perhaps it is, but he had a break. I think that I get a good feeling against a bad Cleveland offense with an old guy who'd been pitching a bit coming off a break.
An old wily veteran.
A good old wily veteran, and
yes.
I like Rich Hill coming out of a little bit of a rest period, having quite a few days off, resetting himself. So I just think his last start against Cleveland wasn't great. And how many bad starts against Cleveland can you really have?
I think he had his one. I mean, there was
one. So yeah, you can't. And lightning doesn't strike twice. So in the same place, I don't know. That's just mostly a gut feeling, though. There's not a lot of numbers that I can quote.
That's what streaming's about.
That's what it's about. Like, I can't quote to you, Rich Hill's been so good over his last 5 weeks. In fact, he's been bad over his last 5 weeks. But I think Cleveland's a bad offense, and it feels like coming off a break, Rich Hill will be a good guy to bet on. Another guy, this is a little bit of a risky pick, but this is born both a little bit of not having a lot of options this week, but I still really like this guy. Patrick Sandoval. Patrick Sandoval is 26% rostered. He is, I believe, pitching today, but he's going to get Minnesota later in the week. The Twins are not a great offense to stream against, I'm going to be honest, but they don't have a very good pitching staff either. So you can vulture some wins against them, even if they're not the best offense to stream against. But I think that you pitch guys who are the real deal, and it feels like Sandoval could be the real deal. He's only 24, but he's gone at least 5 innings in every start so far this season. In most starts, he's gone 6. A couple he's gone 7. He's got quite a few Ks. His Ks are sitting up there. He's basically getting a strikeout per inning. And I like to roll him out there and see what he can do, honestly.
I'm going to be excited for that matchup because it's funny that you picked that he's going against Minnesota because last week Tariq Skubal went against Minnesota. Minnesota's their top, I think they're 6th in Team WOBA versus lefties. And so I was a little nervous. Skubal shut him out. Yeah. So
I don't know. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's got to be gut feelings, dude. I mean, every single stat said don't do it. I did it, and it worked out.
Yeah, and I think the Twins, don't quote me on this because this is just purely like me looking. I haven't looked into the numbers on this, but it feels like the Twins have feasted a little bit on some weak competition in the AL Central pitching wise.
Royals, Tigers, Cleveland without Bieber.
I don't know. It feels like when Minnesota faces the legit guys, they're not as powerful in offense. And you know they
Patrick
strike out quite a
Sandoval,
bit.
you heard it first. Patrick Sandoval is legit.
I feel like Patrick Sandoval is legit. Only 24. I mean, if you got the option to buy in on him in Dynasty, I don't know. It feels like the Angels are undergoing an organizational change when it comes to
20 for 20, right?
20 for 20
rounds.
No, that's a no-hitter right there.
What happens if you're a pitcher in the organization? I was thinking about that. Like just more like, like you're single A, double A, high A, whatever it is, and you're working your way. They basically, the organization just told you that you're all garbage.
Yeah, but but they are.
I know. That's what I know. They're not wrong.
I can't speak to the single A, double A guys. I mean, Mike Mayers is obviously like they have some really good guys in their system, obviously, but like the Angels pitching has been so bad for so long, you need to get some competition in there.
So in case a professional Angels pitcher who's not in the big leagues yet is listening, it's not you, it's the organization doesn't know how to draft. So they're just picking up every pitcher ever because one of them's got to land.
One of them's got to land,
right?
I don't hate it. I like it.
Awesome.
I mean, that's the only real organizational need the Angels have. Just target your needs, man.
There you go. They tried to make up for the last 10 years in one draft. You gotta respect it.
All right, number 3 is Mr. Zach Davies, and this is more of a ratio play than a K play, but he's getting Arizona 2 starts in a row. Today he's going to get Arizona supposedly, and later on next week he's also going to get Arizona again. And Arizona is one of the worst offenses in the league, one of the worst teams in the league. Zach Davies is 5-6. He's got a middling ERA, but he's a ratios guy, and he's a stable force in a rotation. As Nick from Pitcher List calls him, a Toby. He's just sort of like a Toby of all Tobys. He's a boring pitcher, gets you 4, 5, 6 Ks, maybe a run or 2, quality start here and there. But he picks up wins because he usually goes 5. Because he pitches to contact, and so his pitch count doesn't get up there. So I like Davies against Arizona. Every now and then he twirls a gem. Maybe this is it. So
yeah, if it's going to go against any team, it would be the Diamondbacks. I mean, they're just inept offensively. All right, and now my Week 15 pitchers. We're going to start with Jake Odorizzi. So this is the second time I've picked him in the last, I want to say 6 weeks, and he's still only 58% rostered, which I think at this point people got to kind of realize he's been good all season. How do you feel about what he's done so far this year?
I like him. I like that. From what I've kept up with him, I actually just picked him up in the league. He's been keeping his fastball up, and I mean,
he's throwing it a lot more.
Yeah, he's been throwing it a lot more.
He's increased it by like 20%, and he's got away from all his off-speed pitches, which is pretty much the exact opposite of what we've seen, across the league. But the big thing is throw your best pitch as much as possible, and that's what he's doing right now. Yeah,
I've liked the way he's located. He's changed his location and his pitch mix a little more, and it's been working for him. So I like that.
Yeah, awesome. And so he's going against Texas. Texas has the 7th worst in baseball in team WOBA versus righties. Over his last 22 innings pitched, Odorizzi has a 1.23 ERA. He's got 23 Ks in that 22 innings with a 0.77 whip. So, he's on a veteran bender, dude. He's just doing really well. He's throwing the fastball a lot, like we already talked about, and he's finding success locating it. So going up against Texas, I feel really good about that one. And he's on, the Astros are the best offensive team in baseball, so you may be able to get you a win there. Yeah. Number 2, the old vet, Johnny Cueto. Giants, 26% rostered, and he's going against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is the 5th worst team against righties, according to their team WOBA of 295. And Cueto's doing Cueto. He's basically averaging a K per inning. He's going, 5, 6, 7 innings in the games, as long as he doesn't get lost in the first 2 or 3 innings. The Giants are 57-32. They're in first place. So for a stream against a bad team, and he's on a really good team, and Cueto's played that team so many times over the years, I think he's going to be able to pull that one out. So I'm excited for that one as well. Number 3, Tariq Skubal, Tigers, 44% rostered. He's the only pitcher I have that actually has 2 starts. we hope 2 starts, as you've already alluded to, that we don't really know the schedules that well, but it should be 2 starts. 1 versus Texas. I won't go over that. And then Kansas City as well. So Kansas City's a middling team, 9th worst team, in Team WOBA at 308. Over the last 88.2 innings, Scoobel has 105 Ks and only 38 walks.
That's crazy.
Of all the talk about Casey Mize, Scoobel's actually done really well. So it's a high K upside play. I like that he's going against 2 middling offenses. And I don't know if the wins are going to be there. And we're actually going to hit that mark now where they start limiting Scoobel's innings as well. Like we're almost there, if not there now. So I'm going to actually be paying close attention to that. But still only 44% rostered. He should be solid.
Yeah.
All right, Matt.
That's it.
We're donezo.
Only 10 minutes over.
Like Rapunzel. It's the all-star break jitters. It's going to happen. But as always, listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. Mac, remind the listeners where they can find you on Twitter.
You can find me at jchristianmac. It cuts off a little bit here on my banner because my name is long. But just throw a CK on the end of that, and you can find me there.
Awesome. And as always, you can find me at Marty_Tallman on Twitter. Guys, hey, good luck. I hope you had a restful all-star break. Now this is the time where you got to make some trades. You got to keep focused. We have about another 2 months where you can really make a move in your league. So focus, stay true to it. Some people have already dropped off, and you'll notice that. So keep going. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
See y'all.